Item number SCP-315. Object class Safe. Special containment procedures. Object does not require any special storage arrangements. However, it is currently kept in an opaque cardboard box, away from strong light or heat sources, under the assumption that this will slow the natural decay of any stored data on the object. Description: Object consists of a set of 95 standard 8.5 GB recordable DVD format discs, arranged in a stack on a black plastic spindle. Examination of the label side of each disc reveals no manufacturer's name. Printed into each matte label is the title POC 1/1. Beneath this, each disc contains a unique symbol or glyph. No two discs carry the same symbol. On examination of the data side of the disc, it can be seen that each disc has already been fully written with data. Placing the disc into a computer or DVD player reveals that it is a standard encoded video disc. Playing the disc results in one of two effects, depending on whether it is a previously watched disc or an unwatched one. If an unwatched disc is played in a DVD player, the video begins. The scene displayed is a well-furnished living room with a chair in the center. Sitting in the chair is a Caucasian male, SCP-315-1, appearing to be around 40 years old. SCP-315-1 will then demonstrate the ability to react to and converse with anyone watching the video feed. SCP-315-1 will respond to any questions put to him, appears to be able to see the environment outside of the video screen, and appears to enjoy discussions and debates with viewers. If a disc that has already been viewed is viewed again, the disc will simply repeat the footage that was seen the first time. SCP-315-1 will not react to viewers' actions, nor deviate at all from the previous viewing. A disc, once played, always contains the same footage, regardless of who is watching it. The only way to communicate with SCP-315-1 is to insert a disc that has never been watched. Given that there are 95 discs, each containing 3 hours of video, it follows that SCP-315-1 has an effective lifespan of 285 hours, or 11.8 days, not including the footage that has already been watched. It should also be noted that SCP-315 is not the complete set of discs. 5 others are known to exist. It is known that all missing discs have already been fully viewed. SCP-315-1 is cognizant of the nature of his own existence. When questioned, he is aware that he is being displayed on a television screen or monitor, and can reliably identify the type, size, and color of the device on which he is shown. When directly asked about his specific nature, however, SCP-315-1 will not give a straight answer, preferring to draw the viewer into a discussion or debate. It is not clear whether SCP-315-1 is withholding information about his origin, or whether he is uncertain himself. He claims the former, stating that to tell us everything would spoil the game. He's neither demonstrated nor admits to any unhappiness with his situation, nor his short lifespan. SCP-315-1 retains memory between discs. If one viewer interacts with an unwatched disc, then switches to another disc, SCP-315-1 will recognize the viewer and refer to a previous conversation. SCP-315-1 has even shown signs of developing a rapport and friendship with those researchers who have spent a lot of time talking with him. Attached, Document 315-A, a collection of relevant excerpts from interviews with SCP-315-1. Recommended reading for familiarization with this subject. This is Dr. Preliminary investigation for possible classification of 315. Subject looks to be just a regular stack of DVDs. I'm going to take the first one and investigate it on a detached computer. Yeah, let's just get a close-up of that symbol. Can you see that? It looks like... Oh, it's a video disc. I'll just play it. It's just a man sitting there.
Hello.
Oh, he's talking.
Yes, I am.
What?
I am talking. You're right.
Now, can you remember what we talked about last time?
Last time? On the last disc, you mean?
That's what I meant, yes. Is that how you measure time? Per disc?
No, not really. I measure it in minutes, same as you.
Can you tell me what the time is now, where you are?
Sure, it's, let's see. Well then, try coming at it from a different angle.
Like what?
Well, for example, let's say that there's nothing at all paranormal or unusual about these discs. Let's say they're just ordinary DVDs with ordinary unchanging video data on them.
Well, the video does change.
Does it?
Yes. When I talk, you know what I've said and make a relevant answer. When we play the disc again, it's that same answer, so it's permanently changed.
My point is that you can't tell it's changed if you don't know what was on it before. It could be that the disc always had that answer on it.
That's impossible.
Ha! Says the Foundation employee to the SCP.
For that to work, for the discs to all be pre-recorded, you'd have to know what I was going to say and do exactly years before I did it.
I suppose I would. I'd need to be a pretty decent psychic and clairvoyant, though. Or have some kind of future extrapolation device. That would be improbable, but not impossible from a mathematical standpoint.
Sufficiently improbable that I'd sooner believe the impossible.
Or how about this? I could be from the future. I know what you're going to say because I have the records you are making and can respond accordingly.
That makes no sense at all. It'd be unimaginably paradoxical.
You're right, actually. The other problem, of course, is that I have very little motivation to record 10 or so days worth of video just to screw with some SCP employee.
So we've made no progress whatsoever.
That's not entirely true. You've got some more ideas in your head about how these DVDs work, whether they're right or wrong. You have some new ideas, some new things to try and disprove. I wonder what would happen if you were to throw one of the discs away.
Ha! You wonder. I'll bet you know exactly what happens.
Maybe I do and maybe I don't. It doesn't matter anyway. I was just wondering how you would react to it.
What do you mean?
Well, I was just thinking about a little discussions about what these discs are. Whether I'm really a conscious entity with an unusual way of existing, or whether you're talking to an impossible tape recording.
You're saying I couldn't throw a disc away because it might be needlessly shortening the lifespan of a living thing?
No, I mean it the other way. You couldn't throw a disc away because it might be a prediction. You'd have to know if the prediction was accurate. Whether the person who recorded the disc knew that you would throw one away and knew exactly which one. And then once you've exhausted all the other discs, you'd have to find the last one, because if they knew one disc was going to be discarded, mightn't that be the one they recorded an answer on?
Make your choice, adventurous stranger. Strike the bell and bide the danger, or wonder till it drives you mad what would have followed if you had.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I still don't believe your pre-recorded bullshit, by the way. It'd be easy for you to prove it, and I know you'd love to lord it over me.
I got a comeback for that, Doc, but it's the end of the disc.
Addendum 315-01. Experimented to see how SCP-315-1 responds to basic video playback functions. Pause. Entire scenes paused, including SCP-315-1. When resumed, SCP-315-1 was able to tell that he had been paused. SCP-315-1 then demonstrated the ability to respond, when resumed, to questions that have been asked during the pause. Rewind. Entire scenes rewound, including SCP-315-1. When resumed, DVD played back SCP-315-1 does not respond to questioning until video has once again reached the furthest watched point. He then resumed normal conversation and requested not to be rewound again. Fast forward. Whole scenes fast forwarded, including SCP-315-1, who sat still during this sped up play. SCP-315-1 picked up conversation immediately afterwards and requested not to be fast forwarded again. Slow forward. SCP-315-1 was able to react to conversation during slow play, but was slowed down himself. When normal play resumed, he identified that he's been in slow motion, but noted that it made no perceivable difference to him. Addendum 315-02. Attempted to copy one of the unwatched DVDs, was unsuccessful. Disc contained some form of copy protection that nobody seems to be able to break. SCP-315-1 showed awareness of this attempt when next consulted, and made reference to cheating. Addendum 315-03. SCP-315-1 made reference to discs possibly being pre-recorded. To attempt to disprove, played a disc out of sequence, i.e. played a disc from the middle of the pile rather than in the top to bottom order previously used. No apparent effect. SCP-315-1 was still able to tell the current real-world time, conversed normally, complimented researcher on guile. Addendum 315-04. Further attempts to prove or disprove pre-recording theory. A pseudo-random number generator was used. Displayed number to television screen. SCP-315-1 was able to read out the number. If video is pre-recorded, the algorithm used for event prediction is almost impossibly accurate. It seems far more likely that effect is due to some paranormal phenomenon in the discs themselves, although further suggestions to try and prove either hypothesis are encouraged. Dr. Note.
I don't like this conclusion at all. Without the ability to copy the discs, though, I can think of no other way to prove either one hypothesis or the other. I mean, there are more important things to worry about at the Foundation, but this one keeps tugging at the back of my brain.
Addendum 315-05. 2 DVD players set up in separate areas. 1 randomly selected unwatched DVD placed in each player. Both discs played simultaneously to 2 separate researchers. Each instance of SCP-315-1 engaged in a separate conversation with each researcher. Both instances also showed awareness of the other conversation, and were able to transfer a message from one researcher to another. Addendum 315-06. 2 DVD players set up in same room, played to 2 researchers sitting side by side. Dual instances of SCP-315-1 able to communicate both with researchers and with each other, creating a 4-way conversation. When asked whether they were 2 separate entities or one entity controlling both instances, the SCP-315-1s were either unable or unwilling to give an answer. Dr. notes.
This is driving me up the damn wall. I'm taking myself off this project for the moment. No psychic evaluation required. I'm just getting stressed out, trying to figure out how the damn discs work.
Addendum 315-07. Experiments undertaken to disprove the hypothesis that discs are manufactured in the future based on SCP conversation records. An unwatched disc was placed in a player, watched by Dr. and logged by researcher. Researcher was asked to periodically record conversations incorrectly, logging fabricated questions and answers for both Dr. and SCP-315-1. All accurate records of this conversation, including the disk itself, were subsequently expunged, and experiments participants induced to forget which part of the record were fabricated. Inaccurate reports filed away as normal. Results: SCP-315-1 continued normal conversation with subject, giving no fabricated answer or statements inappropriate to actual conversation. Dr. notes:
I couldn't stay away, but at least I have a decent reason for coming back. This proves that the discs are not scripted conversations of future origins derived from our records. It's not a huge breakthrough, but God, I am glad to finally have disproved.
That was SCP-315 by the SCP Foundation. Details of this SCP, including links, can be found in the description below. This video is part of this year's SCP Creepy Collab project. I'll have a link to the playlist in the description section down below. Do go and watch these great videos made by these great, talented narrators. Thank you for watching, and pleasant dreams.